right, we're here with Danger Dan. Got him out to Idaho and Wyoming to go out riding these new Pan Americas. Nobody rides the Pan America like Danger Dan does, and we're ready to talk shop.
Let's go ride.
I don't think there's anybody that's put their bike through what you put yours through, though. Nobody.
That is from my skid plate.
Thanks for having me out.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, man. It was fun. It's beautiful out here.
It is fucking beautiful. And what river is this?
It's Grays, the Grays River.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're on Grays River Road.
Yeah, and certain points, I mean, the road was right alongside the river. So
yeah,
got up high, got right
mountains
by it.
on both sides.
Mountains on both sides.
Yeah, was it the river was down below or right next to us?
Yeah. Sketchiest part was just the graders as we came up the road, right? Those big piles of...
Yeah, they're just leaving in the middle of the road.
Yeah, but outside of that, just an improved road. And
yeah,
as we got farther down here, nobody really out here.
The trail map said 5 out of 10, moderately difficult. I've been on trails where it said easy, and they were way more difficult than that.
I was going to say, this is like a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, easy. I mean, this is nice. I mean, it wasn't even hard packed with gravel top. It was just like not soft, but not real firm, but just loose gravel.
A few spots rutted out, but not
very,
too bad.
very few spots. Some of the trails off to the side I took were a little bit bumpier. You reached out to me, I don't know, or Zach reached out to me a while back.
Yeah.
Told me about you guys wanting to starting a YouTube channel, doing some video to document the new Pan Am. And he told me that you bought both the first 2 bikes that your dealership got so that you guys could use them. Your technicians could have them around to work on and get comfortable with them and learn as much about them as possible to prepare for anybody else that might be coming through or anybody that you've sold a bike to after that you're like, you guys are testing or learning on your vehicles. And I was like, that's genius that, you're supporting, that direction that this company's going.
Yeah, I mean, we're an adventure bike, adventure motorcycle territory, as you're seeing. I mean, you've been out here riding all the beautiful spots out here too. There's just endless places to explore, either pavement or off pavement. Lots of little fire roads out here, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. And, we get thousands of travelers coming through every year. And we wanted to be able to, service those customers. Our Idaho Falls market's pretty small, but there's a lot of, we get these reports that show us how many, dual sport or adventure motorcycles are out there. And, it's a really fast growing segment, as you know. I think, a lot of people watching Long Way Round or other things, kind of got the itch to say, look, we can get out there and experience the world in a much different fashion. I mean, it is old school, and it's cool to get out on the, old choppers and stuff and come down some of these roads, but, these things make some of the other roads just even more accessible. I mean, some of the stuff that you encountered, I mean,
Chopper
it's
wouldn't
gnarly.
go there.
Chopper would not go there.
It might go there, but it wouldn't go out.
Yeah, so Harley, in preparation for this bike coming out, I mean, they were concerned, I think, that, some dealerships have just kind of stuffed this bike in the corner. They had been in the adventure motorcycle category before with the Buell Ulysses, that bike, there's still some hardcore fans of that bike, but I don't think Harley really gave that thing too much of a chance.
Well, the whole Buell brand never really got the backing. Like it just never, I don't know. By the time I knew about Buell, they were gone.
Yeah.
But,
for this bike, in anticipation of this bike coming out, and I saw my first prototype, about 2 years before it actually was released. But in anticipation of it coming out, Harley put together a ton of training materials for their dealer network. And they had this challenge called Battle for the Trail. And, it encouraged dealerships to get up to speed on the category, the various competitors out there, how the Pan America was going to stack up against those competitors. And, our small little dealership there in Idaho Falls ended up tying for first place in that challenge, because we were really committed to it. and really, committed to
That's
understanding
funny,
it.
because my buddy back in Dallas says that he got tied for first place.
He didn't. I can show you the communication.
Oh,
So it was a Michigan dealer,
Yeah.
and then ourselves, and they ran this tiebreaker. Like Harley actually ran, from what I understand, these two little different tiebreakers, and we submitted like 30 minutes behind the other one. But behind the other dealership, not realizing that it was going to be a tiebreaker type thing. But anyway, I got a call from the actual marketing program manager from on the Pan America from Harley Davidson, and just saying, hey, you guys were so close, neck and neck. We just felt like we had to do something for you guys too. So they gave us another spot to go down to Rawhide's Adventure Motorcycle School down in Mojave, California.
At the Zakar.
Zakar.
So one thing I was talking to my buddy Lance at Dallas HD about was pushing training to the people that he's selling them to.
Yeah.
Just so that people can get comfortable and get the confidence underneath them, so that when they do get these bikes, they can take them out there and really enjoy them. Because if you're not comfortable on gravel or comfortable on dirt, and you're scared of dropping this fucking $25,000 machine, you're not going to get to really go enjoy it. But that's one thing that I learned. I learned so much more out there. Even about some of the stuff that I was already aware of, or not aware of, but was already in my practice. But I didn't realize exactly how I was able to manipulate the bike the way I was until seeing them explain it.
Yep.
I really enjoyed them pushing the lock turns, get that steering wheel all the way over and figure out how to balance it and, turn as tight a radius as possible.
Yeah, they even did things with us too, just to show the balance of the bike where, you had somebody kind of spot you, but just, with two fingers kind of walked around the whole bike and, with the kickstand up, had it just, keep it balanced and keep it, standing up. And so these do have a little higher, center of gravity, but they're really well balanced.
Oh, yeah.
So.
What about, did they work with you on the anti-lock braking feature, being on and off, or the traction control?
Yeah, they had us do some, hard braking just so that you could see, some of the differences there. Had us toggle into off-road plus, off-road mode versus sport mode, traction control on and off. These bikes even have a rain mode. I've got a boy that's just, starting to learn motorcycles. He rode dirt bikes growing up, but he's just learning to get out on the street. And, I was able to put him right on this bike, just put it on rain mode, and it kind of tunes the thing back a little bit. He's been able to handle it just fine.
Rain mode.
Rain mode. If you even look in their owner's manual, they say, hey, rain mode can be like a training mode for somebody too, because it just won't give, you kind of the same throttle response.
There's a lot.
Everything.
I can imagine that even on the demo ride, somebody pops that thing into sport mode and just twists the throttle.
It'll wake them up.
It's like,
especially if they've
being a 13-year-old and hopping on a CR250,
yeah,
some just got some get up and go.
Especially if wheelie control's off, right?
Oh yeah, I haven't ridden one like that yet. I don't even want to do that to mine yet. So I get real comfortable with that throttle.
Yeah. Well, you see some videos of guys out there popping wheelies and stuff and riding down the interstate with them now. I mean, and I think overall the bike's been really well received by the community. There's a lot of excitement around it in the shop. And I wanted to make sure our technicians got a chance to put all of the accessories on the bike so that they could make real recommendations, to a customer and know how they work, know how they go on the bike. Not everything that comes out is going to be compatible with the way that a customer is going to use their motorcycle. And so, I was the guinea pig. And then, we decided to get it out and go test it out too. I took my good buddy who's on a BMW GS, and we just headed for southern Utah too, just to go really test it outside of Zakar and, Harley's, kind of product management team kind of hovering over us.
Mm-hmm.
And you're seeing there's not that many out in the wild. And so people that do know about them though, and when they see one, they're like a magnet.
They're stoked.
I mean, that guy from Denmark today, when we were at the Bull Moose Saloon, just came right over because he recognized the bikes. He's like, hey, I haven't seen these things yet. Or I guess he test rode one, but he hadn't seen them out in the wild yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we did last weekend, we did Beartooth Pass, and there's a stop on the Red Lodge side where you can go and feed the chipmunks and stuff like that. And my buddy Zach was on one of these filming another ride that we'd done, and just got swarmed. You know, there were people that saw the bike, came over, you know, were asking all sorts of questions about it. So I remember when I first got, you know, one of these set up, and, you know, they're again headed down to the national parks in Utah. We're going into Arches, and I got my buddy on my buddy's on his BMW, and he actually has a Pan Am that just showed up that he's you know, getting off his BMW.
That one in the basement I saw.
It's getting he should be picking it up this week, but anyway, you could see somebody mouth, like, you know, as we're waiting to get into Arches, like, that's a Harley.
Yeah, she just mouthed the word Harley.
You know.
Oh yeah, I passed a group of BMWs, like right at the first switchback down or second switchback down from California Pass, which is one of the highest motorable roads in Colorado.
Yeah.
And I hear one of them go, "Holy shit, that's the Harley!" And I was jamming to David Allen Co. It was like one of the few groups I didn't stop and talk to. I wish I would have, but I was in my zone, dude.
Yeah, I've had people pull up on, you know, certain roads too, and they're just pointing out of their vehicle and kind of slowing down and taking a look at it.
Wait till you get it custom painted.
Oh yeah.
Because then they're like, it is. You
Wait
know,
a minute, what
it
is
really
that?
throws them off. They're
Yeah.
like, they think it's the Harley, but they're like, is that a factory option?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's for the chemical candy paint. When
That's
you go buy
right.
your bike.
Danger Dan flames.
Those are chemical candy Randy flames, dude. I ain't got nothing to do with those.
Yeah,
No,
but
my good friend Randy, he's a badass. He really is.
yeah, I got one of mine scheduled to get into. There's a gal named Paige that runs a shop called Stripe Cult Painting.
She out of Utah?
She's out of Utah. Yeah, really, really talented, and I'm giving her just artistic freedom to, you know, do, you know, the cowl and the tank for me. And just we'll see
Nice.
what she comes up with.
Yeah, so you're going to do the tank and the fairing.
Yeah.
I think what I'm going to do to mine, so I'm going to get somebody with a pinstripe brush, orange paint maybe, and just put GS Slayer
There you go.
right in the middle underneath the turning headlight. What other adventure bike have you seen custom paint on?
Yeah, it's a Harley thing, right?
And I think that's really, as far as like the mechanics of it, that GS is hard to beat. Like you look at the direction you want to go and the whole giant thing moves that direction.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but there's a lot more customization options on this. And you know, 95% of the people that buy these are going to be like Jeep owners.
Yeah.
They're going to trick them out. They're going to look off-road as
Yeah.
they ain't leaving the pavement.
Yeah. So they're just going to Starbucks.
They're going to be disappointed when the road turns to gravel, okay?
Right.
For 95% of these.
Yeah.
You think that's a safe number, right?
Yeah, I think for most people.
At least for a couple years.
Yeah. But there'll be folks too, especially out, you know, in this part of the country that, you know, will do things like you've done with them where it's just like they're going to push them to the limits. You know?
That's not very smart.
Yeah.
I don't think you should do what I've done with it.
Well, there's several people
I've
out there like
gotten
that that'll
lucky.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to say they've done it.
You're right. I hope so. I can't wait to see him and meet him.
Yeah.
I hear that there's actually a kid close to me named Bones. My buddy was telling me about a young dude that got one in Dallas, and that
Yeah.
he's been riding the piss out of his. So
Yeah, we've had some dude that's, you know, bought one from us that just starts tagging us, and he's out in remote areas with his and really enjoying it. And,
nice.
you know, I had...
What age group are you seeing? How many have you sold so far?
So we have sold a dozen of them, and that's just pretty much everything we've been able to get. Like,
Including yours, or a dozen on top of your
a dozen on top of them.
Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, the demand for the bike has been way higher than expected. We'd actually have... I think we have 7 people right now still on our waiting list.
Are these all bikes you got from the factory, or did you get some from other dealers?
So I'm a part owner in a dealership up in Salem, Oregon as well. So I had to trade for, you know, a couple bikes up there too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we've basically been able to sell through anything that we've been allocated, and actually given up allocation on, you know, some of our touring bikes or Sportsters or stuff just to meet the demand on these things.
Nice. I mean, I kind of saw this coming.
Yeah. What we're seeing is the guys that are getting them, this is just another bike that they have as well, right? It's not their first bike typically, or they're not trading in a bike. They're
not turning this into their daily rider.
Well, they might be turning it into their daily rider, but they're just getting another tool, right,
Yeah.
for a different style of riding. So, look, I look at motorcycles like, they're just different tools, right?
Yeah.
And, they're for different types of experiences. I've owned all sorts of different types. I've got some vintage bikes, like, as you know. And, I get asked all the time, like, hey, what's your favorite one? And I do put more miles on certain ones just because they're tools for that.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite one, I honestly can say, is the one I'm riding at any given time. Like, I can find enjoyment out of pretty much anything on two wheels,
That's
honestly.
the safe answer.
It's
Which
true.
one's your favorite bike, dude?
No, it's honest.
If you had to get rid of all of them except for one.
This is the Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, this is it.
This will do everything.
Yeah, this is the one.
Yeah, this will
I
do
don't know
everything.
that I would feel the same if I didn't have a chopper.
Yeah.
But I say that and my chopper's down right now.
Yeah.
So what are you looking forward to most to see somebody innovate for your bike right now?
For the Pan America, we talked a little bit about fenders. I think some of the off-road protection type stuff. There's some high-quality stuff that Harley got right out of the gate. They went to some like SW Motec on bags and things like that. Now, I know some people are really pissed off because it's like, hey, Harley made their own proprietary stuff, so you can't go to SW Motec and get it, right? But
No, I didn't know that.
They
I don't
did.
even know what SW Motec
so
is.
SW Motec made the bags, like these aluminum bags, or panniers
They're not. No.
bags.
We're not going there, dude. I already had this talk. It's a Harley. Those are saddlebags. I
They're
don't care if
bags.
they're soft
They're
or hard.
bags.
Did you call your saddlebags on your Road King Pioneers?
No.
What's the difference?
No, but anyway, they're a high quality manufacturer.
Yeah.
They make a lot of stuff for BMW. They make a lot of stuff for KTM. They even do Suzuki and Yamaha stuff.
But they're not co-branded with those guys. You buy them from.
You have to buy them from Harley. Yeah.
Well, but the other brands.
Yeah, they're not co-branded. So there's not a universal kit that you can put on this. Like, you can't go to SW Motec and say, hey, I want a universal kit that'll fit a Harley. It just won't.
Well, I find that hard to believe because the bag rails themselves. Those are pretty similar.
They made them just a little bit different in terms of just the measurements and the bungs that are on there. Like, yeah. So,
But okay, yeah, that's
But,
small complaint.
I don't know. Mirrors, handlebars. Like, I really do start focusing on comfort. For some of the longer hauls. I don't think the geometry is quite right for me. Like, I'm 6'6", and so the handlebars. Once the aftermarket catches up there a little bit, I'll probably do something on that front.
Where are you going up further?
Up a little bit further. Yeah.
So what about you? Got the taller risers?
Yeah, they're 2
Did you
inches.
not just put the rocks?
I put rocks on one of my bikes.
Well, the rocks on the taller risers.
Yeah.
Would that not solve your problem?
But then it might be too high.
Yeah, I don't know that your wires will go that far.
Yeah, you'd have to get more cables and everything. So, I on my other bikes, I usually do a lot of suspension work on them as well. These have Showas on them, which Showa's okay.
Just okay. You're saying that this suspension is just okay. Is
Just
that what I
okay.
said? Okay. All right.
So once you ride on an Öhlins suspension,
Really? Öhlins?
Öhlins, yeah. Öhlins does a lot of racing suspension. They're starting to make a lot of stuff for the Softails, the touring frames and things like that now. And there's a night and day difference between stock suspension and Öhlins. Legends is also, you probably saw Legends out in Sturgis. They're making a big splash in the Harley community. Yeah, so I'm a big Öhlins guy. Like, I've done some high performance driving and stuff like that too. And Öhlins is makes a lot of cool race stuff. So show is good. This don't get me wrong. This is good.
Do you think they're going to come out with like a full set of legs, or it's just going to be inserts, or both?
Yeah, it'll be interesting because these have adaptive ride heights, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of options are there. And it's no discredit to Showa. Showa makes some nice stuff. It's just there's levels, right? Like on anything, there's just different levels that you can get depending on how you're going to use the thing.
Considering what I've done with mine so far, I don't know what else you could do to that thing.
Yeah.
Like,
You could add some more travel to it.
Yeah, but so the adaptive ride height,
Yeah.
I didn't get it on mine. I was like, that's just something else that can break. There's already a lot of fucking shit that I have no clue how to deal with.
Yeah.
That's just something else. It seems like a luxury I don't really need. And then I ride my buddies, and I'm like, this is cool. This is real fucking cool, you know?
Yeah.
But practical, I don't know. Because, like, when I was bouncing through those fucking boulders, I wasn't going real fast.
Yep.
Would the bike have lowered and made me bottom out even sooner because I was going slow?
I don't think so. And, you can actually turn the adaptive ride height off.
When you come to a stop? See, I didn't come to a stop before I hit the boulders. Okay,
Yeah.
so things like that, out the window.
Yeah, I mean, if you play with some of the customization side of these bikes, you can dial it in the way that you want, including the adaptive ride height. So if it's something that, you don't really care for or like, you can set a delay so it doesn't do it. You can just turn it off if you want to, I think.
Well, see, what I like is the modes, okay?
Yeah.
You can flip through the modes while you're going down the road.
Yep.
Is there a way I can set a mode up to have the anti-lock brakes off and the traction control off?
You can do
instead
a
of
custom
coming to a stop and turning that off.
You can do custom modes. So you have 2 options to do your own custom modes.
Yeah, but in those custom modes, do I still have to hold down a button while I'm not going anywhere to turn off the anti-lock brakes?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, have you played with those modes? I mean, have you customized one yet?
Yeah, I've customized one on this particular bike, and it was throttle response and the engine braking, and I love it. Yeah. So, because I love sport mode. You probably saw that today. I love sport mode. Not when I'm off road, but so there are a few different things that I did with sport mode just to give me the throttle response I want, and then certain engine braking too.
Well, now what engine braking? Now, when you let go of the throttle, it just goes slower, or
like
the
the engine becomes something that starts slowing your bike down for you. Yeah.
Instead of it just free rolling.
Yeah. Yeah. I can help you out with your modes.
No. I can ride any mode anywhere because it's, whatever. It's pretty insane. But I do find that if I'm going to be riding really aggressive, that sport mode is great. It's a little bit too snappy of a throttle.
Yep.
But the suspension doesn't bottom out as much.
Yep.
Because it's stiffer, like it doesn't. When I hit a jump, I don't just bam, like it's harder to compress. And on mine, yours doesn't have this option because it's all computerized, but I can tell it, single rider, passenger, or single rider with cargo.
Yep.
And the engineer I talked to, he was like, oh, none of that matters. And I'm like, well, yeah, it does. And from my experience riding the bike, when I tell it that it's me and my wife, it doesn't bottom out as much when I hit a jump.
Yep.
Instead of because it also has an auto where it just does it on its own.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's supposed to adjust to 30% sag, no matter if I gain 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Or after I take a shit and I lose 30 pounds.
That's right.
It adjusts when I get back on it.
After dinner last night.
Yeah. Yeah, the modes thing. I mean, I came from a chopper that's old as shit. Like, this is all so advanced that.
But you can feel the change. It's not just something where it's like.
What's funny is if you'll hold the throttle in one spot and flip through, you can feel the change without turning the throttle.
Yeah.
Like it.
The engine mapping is totally different. And then, like I say, that rain mode too. It's like, you'd really feel it there because it does cut the engine back.
Yeah.
But should make the bike a lot more approachable for folks too. And one thing I do like about the adaptive ride height is, the adventure motorcycling category, you have to have a pretty tall inseam to get on some of these bikes. I mean, the new KTM 1290 Super Dude.
That's because people don't know how to get on a motorcycle. It's just like a horse. Okay? How do people get on horses? Do they have giant inseams? Okay? They stick their fucking foot in the stirrup and throw their leg over.
Right.
If you stick your foot on the peg and throw your leg over, you can get on a really tall motorcycle.
You might not be able to get off of it without falling down, though, is the problem.
Well, if you use the peg again to swing on, I've seen you do it. You've done it.
Yeah.
People just don't know how to do it. And yeah.
The 1290 Super Adventure, though, has a 35-inch seat height, right?
Yeah.
So, you're a taller guy. You'd be able to ride that just fine. But somebody that's like 5'6", 5'7", they're not getting their feet down.
Oh, when they come to a stop?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, they should just stick to step-through scooters.
That's right.
You can't cater to everybody. No, but you're right. I mean, that is a big thing that,
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny to see how much they pushed that as like, you know, I guess it is
Nobody's done
surprising
it
that
yet.
nobody's done it before.
Yeah.
And I can see how it makes it a lot more accessible to people who are shorter. Because
Yeah.
I guess there are short people out there.
Yeah.
I don't see them. My line of vision is just
Over the top of them.
over the top. I forget that they're there sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing. Thanks for reaching out. Keep pushing forward with this adventure market. Like, keep riding these bikes, you know. Get your tech guys good at working on them, because I have a feeling one day I'm going to be up here and I'm going to break some shit, and I'm going to need you guys to help me out.
Absolutely.
You know, like, this time we got lucky. It was just an oil change and a computer flash. Like,
Yep.
I have a feeling that that's not just going to be it in the future. So,
Yeah, for sure. No, we've definitely invested in it and believe in the category, and we're getting out and using them ourselves.
I hope that other dealers around the nation see what you're doing. And, you know, I'm stoked about where this goes. I never thought that I would want a brand new Harley Davidson, and now I got one of them and stoked. So
That's awesome. Dan, great talking with you. How can people find you?
you can go to DangerDanceTalkShop.com or look up, wherever you listen to podcasts. I put one out almost every week. I have a t-shirt company called MC Shop Tees, where I highlight the independent shops around the country, people that keep you in the wind. And I want to thank you, Greg, for having me out. Your team's great. I've enjoyed riding, and I'd like to, you know, further put these things to the test today, and I look forward to that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that. mcshoptees.com. Go check that out. Check Dan's podcast out. These tees are some of the coolest tees out there. And follow Dan on the gram as well. He puts this Pan America through hell, and it just keeps taking a beating and keeps on ticking. Give us a follow, a like, subscribe on our YouTube as well. Lots more Pan America content coming your way.